Hey, it's Melissa. It's year 3, week 8 of my $100,000 stock experiment, ending June 5th, 2020. I'm sharing what I'm buying and selling, but I'm not giving endorsements on what stocks to buy. You need to make your own decisions and decide how to handle your holdings. According to the IBD at investors.com, the market is in a confirmed uptrend. The S&P 500 is cooking. It closed the week at 3193, well above that last line I had there, that gray line at 2963. You can see the red 50-day simple moving average is going up. That's awesome. The VIX, or the volatility index, is also way down. It closed the week at 2452. Still higher than I like to see it. I like to see it between 12 and 16. I've been attending a lot of seminars, meetups, and I've been listening to this IBD live for the past 2 weeks. And some things that I want to watch for myself are paying attention to this 8 and 16-day simple moving average on charts to see if they're moving up, have they crossed, are they getting closer together or further apart. And also I want to see if I can squeeze out more profits on my stocks. Maybe use the 31-day exponential moving average as a floor, but then watch for an 8 or 16-day cross to consider selling for a profit instead of waiting for it to trigger a floor. But I need that floor because I work full-time, so I want to be sure that if something catastrophic happens that my stocks are selling off as they need to. For example, the S&P 500, when I put my 8-day, 16-day, and 31-day exponential moving averages on the chart, you can see right now it's well above the 8-day simple moving average, the pink line, and moving up. But sometimes it's gotten into trouble when it drops below that 31-day exponential moving average, the blue. Every time I purchase a stock, I put my stop limit order as my floor. Initially, it's 8% below the purchase price. I did buy 6 new stocks this week: Ecolab, InMode, KLA Corp, Mercury Systems, Ping Identity, and Solar Edge. The number 2s are showing you where I made my B2s. The number 3, I made a B3 in Blackline. And then 3 of my B2s sold in Alt, Chegg, and Ping. Solar Edge Technologies. This is one of my loser stocks. It was mentioned on IBD Live. I've been watching that every morning. It's about an hour and 40 minutes long, so I'm spending about 8 hours a week on that, and it's a little much for me. But they talk about a bunch of stocks. They show a bunch of charts. So I look at the charts and see if any of them are ones I'm interested in buying. I was trying to get away from software stocks. I was super heavily invested in software stocks, so this one is not software. I've held it now for 4 days. It's down 1.5%, and I did leave my floor at the 8%. Every week I review my charts and see if I can move up my floor. Ecolab is another stock that I bought this week. My girlfriend's husband, Greg, mentioned it, and I looked at it. I love the volume. You can see that down at number 1, and I'm wondering if I want to buy more of this. I've held this stock for 3 days. It's up 4. And I did raise my floor up to that 16-day simple moving average, that green diagonal line. Ping Identity, stock symbol PING. This is another stock that was discussed on IBD Live. I made a B1 on Monday and a B2 on Tuesday. I did get stopped out of my B2, but I'm still in my B1. I've held it for 5 days. For the whole week, I'm up 1.8%. And I did raise my floor up to the diagonal green line, the 16-day simple moving average. KLA Corp, another stock mentioned on IBD Live. I'm showing the 1-year chart on this. It had a really super nice run up from June to November. Then it gapped down, recovered, went sideways for a while. Then it had the Corona dip. That was a super big dip. Then it recovered, and it's continuing its uptrend. It's at an all-time high, and all the averages are pointing up. I've held this stock for 2 days and it's up 2.3%. And I want more. Chegg. This stock is struggling. It's my biggest loser stock. It's consolidating, going sideways. I'm not sure, can I hold it during this consolidation, or even do I want to? The pink 8-day simple moving average has fallen below the 16-day simple moving average, that green line, and that is not a good sign. I'm going to make a decision this week if I should hold it or sell it. It had gone up after I bought it, and so I bought a B2 also. That one triggered a sell, and I took an 8% loss in that. And my B1, I have almost a 5% loss. Mercury Systems. I bought this on Thursday. It's not a software stock. I'm not sure if they mentioned it on IBD Live or not. I saw it somewhere, and I had held it before in 2017 before I started my experiment, so I'm familiar with this stock. It did drop down below the 8-day simple moving average, so I want to see if it can pop back above that and continue going up. I did leave my floor at 8%. I considered raising the floor to the 31-day exponential moving average, but I just thought that it was too close and I wanted to give the stock a little bit of room to run. I've held it for 2 days and I'm up 1.3%. Remember to not let your double-digit gain turn into a loss. AMODE, stock symbol INMD. I have 2 buys in this. One I've held for the whole week, 5 days, and it's at 13.6%. It was going up so fast I couldn't really find a good place to get in, but Friday it seemed to take a little pause. I think the stock was mentioned on IBD Live, but it isn't in their daily notes that they send out on the recap. My friends had held the stock when it first IPO'd, so I'm familiar with it, and I knew that it had a really nice run up and then it went back down. It's just starting to show that white line, the 200-day simple moving average, and it was below that when I bought it. On the 1-year chart, you can see it had a really nice run up, then it tanked on coronavirus, and it's had a steady climb back. My girlfriend Franca says there's too much overhead supply. That means that people bought it when it was above the price that I have it at now, and they're sitting on the stock with a loss, likely, and then as it goes up, they'll want to sell it. So when stocks have a lot of overhead supply, it sometimes makes it hard for it to make any progress in going up. I did raise my floor on this up above my purchase price to the 8-day simple moving average. I'm trying to add to my positions as they prove themselves. I'm not very good at this, but I'm hoping that I'll learn and improve. Adobe. My B1 I've held for 5.5 weeks and I'm up 11%. And I finally made a B2 in it. I've held that for 1 week. I bought it on Monday and it's up 2%. I raised my floor up to the 31-day exponential moving average for both my B1 and my B2. The 8-day simple moving average is above that 16-day simple moving average, and they have a nice distance apart. So this looks like a stock that I can hold. Hopefully it doesn't tank on earnings, which are coming up Thursday after the market closes. Blackline. This stock was making really nice progress. I bought it 2 days in a row, my B1 and my B2, and then it continued up and I made my B3, and then it came down just back to its 8-day simple moving average, so hopefully it pops back up. My B1 I've held for a week and a half and it's up 7%. My B2 I've held just under a week and a half and it's up 1.3%. And my B3 I've held for a week and I have a loss in that of just over 1%. I raised my floor on my B1 to the 31-day exponential moving average, and it's still at 8% for my B2 and my B3. Stocks sell when my floor gets triggered. I already told you that I sold 3 of my B2s this week, but I also sold 3 B1s, Alt, DT, and Work. Work is the only one I sold for a profit. Alt. I've held this stock a bunch in the past 2 weeks. I had 3 B1s and 1 B2. My overall gain across all my buys is 36%. My first B1 had a gain of 50% in 4 days, and the rest of my buys were all losers. This one here, I lost 1.5% on my B1, which I held for just under a week, and my B2 I also held only for 2 days and I lost 7.3%. Dynatrace, stock symbol DT. This stock had great earnings and sales, but the daily swings are just too big for my style of trading. I keep getting stopped out. I got stopped out for an 8% loss on this one, and I held it under a week. Work. I didn't feel very good about this trade. After I bought it, it just went sideways, and then finally it went up the last week. It kept going up and up. At the end of last week, I had a 13% gain in this stock, and I had held it for 4 weeks. But then earnings, no one liked earnings, and its stock tanked. This stock dropped like 15% after the market closed on Thursday. So I canceled my floor. I had raised it to 5% above my purchase price, so I have a gain on it. But I could see it was likely going to open below that, and I didn't want it to bounce through that if it was going back up. So I canceled my floor, and I just watched it on Friday, and at the end of the day, I sold it for a 5% gain. This is my current holdings bar chart. One bar represents 1 week or a partial week that I've owned the stock. Adobe I've held the longest. I've held that for 6 weeks or part of 6 weeks, and it's up just over 10%. Blackline I've held for 2 weeks, and it had a nice gain the first week, and the second week it continued up. Chegg is a loser stock. ECL I just purchased, and it has a nice gain. INMD is screaming. It's my largest gain, and I've only held it the 1 week. Followed by KLAC, okay gain, Mercury, okay, Ping, okay, and Solar Edge is a loser. This is my weekly percentage change sorted with the losers on the top. Chegg was my loser and Solar Edge also. Each box represents 1 week, and if I just have one box, it represents the increase or decrease since I purchased the stock. I also show the dollar value of my B1 on my current gains chart, also sorted with the losers on the top. I like to get rid of those losers and then just let the winners keep hopefully winning. The industry breakdown shows that I have $40,000 in cash, plus I'm in 6 industries. Last week I was only in 3 industries. I'm hoping that diversification can help me stay in some of these stocks a little longer than I've been in them. I've been getting stopped out pretty quickly. The benchmark is showing after 2 years and 8 weeks that my $100,000 has grown to $155,873. I'm down about $2,000 from last week. I had quite a bit of loss, $2,600 on stocks that I held last week but sold this week. I had a loss in my B2s, 3 B2s that all sold. I bought this week and it sold. $1,300 loss. I did have a gain of $2,000 on my new holdings, and just my existing holdings, I had a $79 loss. The S&P for the same time period is up to 120,242. It had a really nice gain this week, and it beat me because I went down. In the purple, the weekly change for the S&P is 4.9% for the week, and I'm down 1.2%. And in the yellow, for the experiment year for me, which started on in mid-April, the S&P 500 is up 14.5%, and I'm only up 7.7%. So the S&P is kicking my butt right now. Thanks for watching. Keep an eye out for my next episode, or better yet, subscribe to my channel, The Melissa Method. Don't forget to hit the bell if you want an alert when I post a new episode.